Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to show you how to animation cyberspace. Scroll all the way to the bottom. Pick which ratio you want. And start animating. I did a very simple heart animation. Here's how I did the blinking animation. Hope this helped.
Driving around, hadn't got far.
Feature for quite some time now apparently. I'm late. Sorry. I haven't tried it yet. So let's check it out right now. Okay, so when you create your new canvas, you want to scroll down to the very bottom for this animation section. I don't know if you need to update your ID's Paint first or what, but if you cannot find this animation section, try updating your ID's Paint first. I don't know what to choose, but I'm just gonna go for the first one. Okay, you can also choose the FPS. So I'm sure a lot of you already know what frames per second is, but if you don't, basically the higher the FPS, the smoother the animation is, because there are more individual pictures or frames in every second. The highest FPS here is 30, but I'll get somewhere in between, so it doesn't take up much space. Okay, so the interface changes a little. There's an extra toolbar right here, and it's much easier to add layers and play your animation. This is much simpler and cleaner than Photoshop's animation. Actually, love it. This is the
Good
animation
girl for
editor,
feeding your
which
babies.
I cannot
Good
even
girl,
pretend I
Pasha.
understand. Listen, I actually took an animation
Oh, hi,
class
Wolfie.
in college, but boy, I was
I'm petting my
so
kitty.
give me a minute to re-educate myself. 2 hours later. Okay, I took some time. So, frame per second, you already know. Play options is how you want the animation to play. There is loop, so your animation will play on loop. There is ping pong, which I don't know how to explain. So just look at your screen and you'll understand. One shot means the animation will only play once. It won't loop or ping pong. Onion skin is I actually have to Google this one, but basically you can see the drawing before and after the one you're working on. So you have guidelines for your animation, so it looks
I
more
know, it's
consistent
her
and
babies.
smooth. I can see you're confused.
The cat I
But you'll
showed on my
understand
screen
more
is
as we
it's her
actually
babies.
animate. Today we'll be animating Al Haytham from Genshin.
I'm gonna make sure you
because
feed
I
your
miss
babies
Al
this time too,
Haytham and I
Possum.
miss Sumeru. I love exploring Fontaine, but sometimes I go back to Sumeru just to take a walk, admire the trees, and just be nostalgic, you know? I might
I'm
visit
watching how to animate.
Anyway, I think I misspoke earlier. This right here is called frames. And this here is layers for drawing. So you can create artwork as usual. And I draw it in the wrong frame. Damn it. Be careful, you guys. Don't be like me. I'll sketch Al Haytham real quick. He always has this flat expression on his face. So I think it'll be fun to animate his facial expression. Oh, let's try
Yeah, that's why you
giving
make
him
animatics.
facial expression. You know, the wink and his little but I noticed the resolution is not very high. It's a bit to make the movement instead of like drawing one by one. But the thing about Liquify is, I don't know if you noticed,
I can
but
somewhat
it sort
animate.
of
I can only do a
blur
couple
the
frames.
lines, so it's not as clear as your original drawing. So please keep that in mind. But anyway, let's try play the animation. What the hell? This is not what I have in mind at all. Let's create a blinking animation.
You want to watch this
first.
with me? I can
Something
invite you in
simple
here.
before we move on to more complicated stuff. The onion skin is really helpful to keep your drawing consistent. So the eyes
Because
are
I
not
see
all
that you have
over
to
the
draw all
face.
the body
And then
parts
move
each
his head around
separately.
as well, so it looks more dynamic as he blinks. If you only move it around a little with Liquify, the line shouldn't look too blurry. Whoa! As
Refreshing.
well. I realized I could just copy paste the beginning animation, but it's too late. I have drawn too much. I think it's also a good
Now
idea
that
to
you're in
have some
here,
references on how the facial muscles would move, or you
I
can
can switch
just
to
have a
computer
mirror
to share
nearby
screen.
and try the expression yourself. I just found out that when you do the black, you would pout a little before sticking your
Screen with Wolfie so we can both learn how to animate together. I say that Wolfie because I mean you could help each other in this way if we both learn how to animate. Because there's usually like I'd say two animators, well two or more, like multiple animators supposed to animate something to make things look more better, you know. And we can fully animate your Wolfie and Volt and my or more Agridos. Also, I like how your original Wolfie series, Wolfie. It's very original. No one has ever thought of anthropomorphic animals and humans mixed together. Well, unless you count Sonic X. But you added robots. You did a mix of a lot of things, didn't you? Which is amazing. So tell me if I'm right. It's a mix. Your series is a mix of Ratchet and Clank. I think a bit of Gumball, Power Rangers, and Transformers. Oh, and Sonic. Forgot. Don't forget Sonic. I could be wrong though. Not Gumball though. Everything but Gumball. Okay. I might have the Gumball aesthetic. I'm too lazy to draw, so I might just use like realistic backgrounds instead. So I'm too lazy to draw backgrounds. Anyways, let's see. Where are there it is. The cats are sweating, by the way. The babies. Which reminds me, Wolfie. Say hi to the babies. Say hi to the babies. I think my calico cat, kind of looks like your Livy. I'd show you up close if Possum wasn't in my way.
Yeah, I'm about to die from cuteness. They're so cute. My goodness.
You're supposed to be a mommy. Feed your babies. They are adorable, though. Aren't baby animals great?
Yes.
Yeah, struggling is one. I would help you, but I know that you're going through some strange games with the script writing of your own stuff.
Yeah.
Besides, I wouldn't know what to do either with yours, because I'd mostly know what to do with mine because I know the characters well, but I still need to study your characters if I want to help. Possum, feed your babies. She wants to love me instead. I will put your babies in my... Feed them.
She's enough time to love you, but she needs to make time for her kittens.
Yeah, don't need to love me, but you need to make time for kittens.
Yeah. Yeah, go feed your babies.
Possum down. Right on your baby, right there.
Go snuggle them. Go cuddle with them, Possum.
Get your babies.
Your
Oh,
babs. Your babs.
I'll grab one. I swear, I'll grab one.
Ball. Those sound so cute. I miss when Libby was like that young.
Hold on. Tell me if this looks like your Livy, okay? I'm gonna grab him. Or her, I don't know. Right here.
A bit, yeah. To be honest,
That's the only calico one in the bunch.
the rest are like part white and like ginger, right?
Yes, and then one is like, or one or two. I'd say two are fully orange, two are ginger and or ginger and white, and then the one full calico. Aw, she's giving her babies kisses.
Finally.
I had to teach her how to feed her babies, or else she's not going to take care of them. So every time I'm here, I have to force them on her. You heard me, Possum. Oh yeah, someone called me a furry earlier, and I kind of roasted them.
I did what?
They called me a furry earlier, so I roasted them.
Yeah, I never got that problem.
I don't know why you don't. Your PFP's a literal wolf, and mine's like Sonic. I would honestly think you would get that type of comment too.
The only person who ever like asked me that, like not, but I will not be like say that I was a furry, but like asked me if I was a furry. It was strange before we became quote unquote friends at the time.
Anyways, we shall both learn animation together. That way, two animators is to make things more smooth. I just gotta find it. Here it is.
Wow.
Babies.
Yeah,
Yes,
I love ads. Those are my favorite. Especially that freaking base 44 that always pops up at the beginning, middle, or end of the video, which sucks. There's
This one
nothing
looks like an orange creamsicle. Its name is Ginger.
Makes sense because it's part ginger. Makes sense.
If it's a girl, her name is going to be Ginger. If it's a guy, it's going to switch to Gingy.
Gingy. That's cute, actually.
Yeah. My mom named one of them, but I forgot their name. I wanted to name it, but I honestly wanted to name it something else, but that wasn't the one my mom chose. I wanted to name it Midnight. Who loves ads? Riptide loves ads.
I just built the budgeting app in Base 44.
Guys, Lena just built an app.
Impossible.
Here we go. We shall learn together.
This Paint has released their
I
animation
don't know,
feature for quite
I'm
some
used to
time
this
now,
thing,
apparently. I'm late. Sorry. I haven't tried it yet. So let's check it out right now.
Really?
Okay, so
Yeah.
when you create your new canvas, you want to scroll down to the very bottom for this
I wish I could
animation
draw that.
section. I don't know if you need
What
to
the
update
heck?
your IBIS Paint first or what, but if you cannot find this animation section, try updating your IBIS Paint first. I don't know what to choose, but I'm just gonna go for the first one. Okay, you can also choose the
Yes, that's
FPS. So I'm sure a lot of you already know what frames per
So I
second
don't
is.
like
But if you
that.
don't, basically the higher the FPS, the
version
smoother
of
the animation
Sketch
is, because there are more individual pictures or frames in every second. The highest FPS here is 30, but I'll get somewhere in between so it doesn't take up much space. Okay, so the interface changes a little. There's an extra toolbar right here. And it's much easier to add layers and play your animation.
No?
This is much simpler and cleaner than Photoshop's animation, actually. Love it. This is the animation setting, which
You need
I
something?
cannot even pretend I understand. Listen, I actually took an animation class in
I can
college,
see
but boy,
IBS Paint.
give me a minute to re-educate myself.
2 hours later.
Okay, I took some time. Loop, so your
Oopsie.
animation will be on loop. There is ping pong, which I don't know how to explain, so just look at the screen and you'll understand. One shot means the animation will only play once.
Bit
But want to
confused.
look for
It just
ping pong,
demonstrated.
I actually have to Google this one, but basically you can see the drawing before and after the one you're working on. So you have guidelines for your animation, so it looks more consistent and smooth. You're confused, but you'll understand more as we actually animate. Today we'll be animating Al Haytham from Genshin
Much
because
better.
I love Al Haytham and I miss Sumeru. I love exploring Fontaine, but
I still wish
sometimes
I
I
could
go
draw
back
like that, man.
to walk, admire the trees, and just be nostalgic, you know? I might need to touch real grass. Anyway, I think I misspoke earlier. This right here is called frames. And
Well, we
this
both
here
know that we gotta draw
No,
the
it's
body
complete.
from the character.
and I draw it in the wrong frame. Damn it. Be
This
careful,
is
you guys.
not a
Don't be
frame.
like me. I'll sketch Al
Not
Haytham real quick.
that was
He
called a
always has
page.
this
We
flat
told you what a frame
expression on
is.
his face, so I think it'll
Literally.
be fun to animate his facial expression. Oh, let's try giving him Lini's facial expression. You
I
know,
can't
the
even tell
wink
it then.
and his little the I noticed the resolution is not very high. It's a bit pixelated. I don't know if you can see, but if you zoom in, it's a bit pixelated. But that's fine, you know, because it might take up a lot of space if it's HD quality, which is why I will not render the artwork and make it semi-realistic. I will just line art and color it with cell shading. I actually really suck at cell shading. I've been rendering for years and I actually forgot how to cell shading. Wait, should I color it right now or should I wait until the whole animation is done? Yeah, I think I should finish the animation first. Okay, so the line art is done and I think I just need to duplicate and duplicate some more. I'm so at animating. So apparently when you duplicate the frames, they keep all the layers like the first frame you copied. So that's convenient. Let me try moving around his hair and then duplicate, then move around some more. And do you see the red and green lines here? it's the onion skin. So you can see the drawing before and after the one you're working on. I think it's good to separate your layers. It depends on what you're animating, but if you want to animate like the movement of the hair, then you should make the hair in the different layer. And then you can just use Liquify to make the movement instead of like drawing one by one. But the thing about Liquify is, I don't know if you noticed, but it sort of blurred the lines, so it's not as clear as your original drawing, so please keep that in mind. But anyway, let's try play the animation. What the hell? This is not what I have in mind at all. Let's create a blinking animation first, something simple before we move on to more complicated stuff. The onion skin is really helpful to keep your drawing consistent so the eyes are not all over the place. I'm gonna move his hair around as well so it looks more dynamic as he blinks. If you only move it around a little, with Liquify, the line shouldn't look too blurry. Whoa, guys, this looks legit. Like, look, he's blinking. He's blinking. Is this the satisfaction that animators feel? Okay, I know what you're thinking. Fuck, this is just blinking animation. First of all, it's not complete yet. When you play it, it's weird because this is actually not complete yet. You would have to duplicate this and then, wait, can you move it? Yeah. Put here and then duplicate here and move it here. So kind of you create it backwards
multiple
on it.
frames
But
in
when
order
you're
to make it look
creating
smoother.
animation, you need to create two
Let's take
parts.
it.
It's open
Each
and
frame.
eyes closed. And instead of drawing it, you can just copy paste the previous frames. Whew, that's what I was trying to say, but my brain won't cooperate. I need to write it down and then read it out to you guys because my brain won't cooperate. I will make Al-Haytham give us a
Yeah,
wink.
kasi yeah, I love
Just
when
look at what I
my
did
brain
for the blinking animation, but only for one eye. I think I should move the eyebrows a little as well. I realized I could just copy paste the blinking animation, but it's too late. I have drawn too much. I think it's also a good idea to have some references on how the facial muscles would move, or you can just have a mirror nearby and try the expression yourself. I just found out that when you do the blab, you would pout a little before sticking your tongue out. I know it seems small and insignificant, but these tiny movements can make your animation more natural. I'm not a professional animator, by the way. This is just something I noticed while recording this. Alright, the animation is pretty much done. We just have to color this. Again, I suck at cell shading, but I don't think I have the physical and mental capacity to render this into semi-realistic painting and animating it. So I'm not sure if I can copy the colors to all the frames. Can you do that? No?
Apparently you can go from 0 to a complete site in just a single prompt with Wix Harmony. I don't know if this is going to be possible. Where vibe coding meets drag and drop freedom. We'll see about that. All right, let me try to make up a site to sell some like theoretical kombucha. Make me a site about
okay, no offense, but Wix sucks.
kombucha. Make it look nice and pretty and highlighting the product. Refine my prompt. Okay, let's do that. All right, that's so much better. All right, generate my site. So now Aria, my AI assistant, is planning things out a bit, so I'm going to let it cook. Okay, just finishing the build. And wow, are you kidding me? I typed in like the dumbest prompt and then I refined it. Then I generated a site. Now I have an actual website. Oh, and I like how I have full customization. Like, look at this. I could just change the text. I could change the corners, the formatting, the menu, or I could ask Aria. I really like this hybrid approach where AI does like a bulk of the speed work at the beginning and then I have the control to customize it at the end. It blends vibe coding, agentic AI, and drag and drop all into one editor. And here I am in the center just making any adjustments I want. So with Wix Harmony, you get flawless functionality, total security, and lightning speed from the get-go. Behind the scenes, Wix is handling all security and site management, so you can just focus on optimizing your website. So go ahead and make a website today.
What's new with Google Ads? Google AI powers campaigns that work for you. Your ads multiplied. Better results? Simplified. Put Google AI to work on your next campaign.
Please don't make me color them manually. Okay, I think the quickest way right now is to copy paste them one by one to the rest of the frames. But let's do that later and shade it first. This is just a simple animation after all. I don't think the shading would change much. I do, however, have a hard time cel shading the hair. Usually I will blend the colors a lot when painting semi-realism, but I don't think it will look good here. I'm changing the brush into something with sharper edges. Yeah, I think this one looks better. I am, however, erasing the edges with soft eraser so it doesn't look very harsh. Ooh, let's not forget about highlights. They make everything better. The color is a bit boring, so let me adjust the color using tone curve. Unfortunately, you do need to pay to use it in IBIS Paint, but if you're F2P, free to paint, you can try using hue saturation or color balance. Okay, shading done. Now we can copy paste to the rest of the frames, which is a very boring and tedious process. Oh god, this is so boring. Okay, would you guys like to hear a joke? In the meantime, I got one. What's brown and sticky? A stick. I'm sorry. Now we have to adjust the color so it aligns with the line art and erasing the excess colors. Seriously though, animators are like on whole nother level of patience. Especially animators who hand draw their animation. Dude, like mad respect. It's a shame that we cannot see his other eye, so I will erase the hair just a little so you can see his eye. And now I have to do it to the rest of the frames. Yes, great. I love animating. I think it's also a good idea to erase the line art a little so it looks softer. Okay, I think we are done. Hopefully. Let's play the animation. Oh, will you look at that? His fringe is inconsistent. Damn it. But overall, he looks adorable. He looks really sweet. So sweet it hurts my teeth. I wonder what would happen if I increase the FPS. Oh, it's faster. Okay, let me adjust the duration. Okay, so I adjusted the duration for 0.13 second each. And let's see. It's similar with the 15 FPS one, but it just looks smoother. No, actually, it's much smoother. You know what? This is not bad. For someone who sucks at animation, I think this is pretty good. Film, you still suck! Hey, feelings. I would say though, the animation interface in IBIS Paint is very clean and simple. It's very easy to understand for beginners. You cannot expect anime studio quality or anything, but it is very good for a free app in my opinion. Anyway, let me know if you've tried it. What are your thoughts? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? And I am out.
I help customers every day who just want laundry to be easier. LG's top-load washers are designed with that in mind, combining smart features, easy access, and a clean modern look. Let's start with the features that stand out across the lineup. Starting with easy unload, LG added a gentle forward angle to the washer, making it easier to reach deep inside without straining. These models use built-in intelligence to identify fabric type and load size, then adjust to wash automatically. With smart pairing, the washer can even tell the dryer which cycles to run next. With the LG ThinQ app, I can start or monitor loads remotely, download new cycles, or even use voice assistants. It's a really easy way to stay on top of the laundry without hovering over it. They're impressively quiet thanks to the True Balance anti-vibration and low decibel operation, which keeps even big loads running smoothly. Especially helpful if your laundry room is on the main floor or upstairs. 6-motion technology tailors the wash motions to the cycle, using stronger action for stains and gentler movement for delicates. So clothes come out cleaner and stay in good shape longer. Now let's cover each model. Starting with the 8200, you get a 5 cubic foot capacity, which is a great size for everyday laundry. You can choose between an impeller or a 4-way agitator, depending on whether you prefer a gentle wash or a more traditional cleaning action. Step up to the 8400 and you'll get a larger 5.5 cubic foot capacity, big enough to wash a king-size comforter and a full set of bedding in one load. Turbo Wash 3D speeds things up with a full clean in about 29 minutes, using strong water jets and independent movement to stay quick but gentle. At the top of the lineup, we have the 8600, designed for convenience. You still get the same large capacity and Turbo Wash 3D, plus features that take the hassle out of laundry day. The built-in water faucet lets me spot clean stains right in the tub. No sink needed. Easy Dispense is a nice little upgrade. It automatically adds the right amount of detergent and softener. It lasts for weeks between refills and even lets you know when it's time to top it off. The LCD digital dial takes the design up a notch, making it quick and easy to select cycles with a modern look. Overall, LG's top-load lineup offers options that fit every routine. You can visit us in store to get set up with delivery and install, or explore more on bestbuy.com and in the app to find the right one for you.
Hey Bakersfield, are you looking for professional, reliable appliance repair?
Get it fixed by Zip. We are a local appliance repair company that services all major brands in and around the Bakersfield service area. Is your dryer not drying? Is your washing machine wobbling? Is your refrigerator just not cold enough? Click the link below, schedule your time for us to come out and service your equipment today.
Way underground, we start our story in a Disney laboratory, super duper confidential spot, where a bunch of crackpot scientists said, what the heck, we're trying this, and grabbed up every
E. I'm muted because I'm doing chores. Why do you feel targeted? Also, I'm back. I had a lot of chores to do. And also, hello, Mark and Alaya and Kika. Well, that was loud.
What's your
Geez, I wonder why. Why do you feel targeted? I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, what's going on?
Kiko feels targeted.
Why?
I don't know. Why do you feel targeted? It's your title.
Oh, the title of the live stream.
Oh yeah, we're all because I had to put it, or else people are gonna be mean to us. Basically, people are gonna think we're normal.
Normal's weird. Being normal is weird, but that's normal for some people.
Before there were computers, animation was all done by drawing on paper, cleaned up on animation cells, then shot on cameras against backgrounds one frame at a time. It is a slow, tedious, and difficult process, and I think it's so freaking cool. Most animation these days is done on computer, which is still a difficult and tedious process, but saves time on specific things, like being able to play back your animation by clicking a play button, instead of having to shoot your animation by camera before previewing it, and being able to color with the click of a mouse, instead of handcraftingly painting every animation cell. My goal with this video is, of course, to teach you how to animate on paper, but I also want to try and convey why it's still relevant and important to try at least once in your life. Or, if nothing else, just show you how cool and special this unlost art is. We're going to be doing it just as the old school Disney and anime animators did it, with a peg bar and animation paper. If you'd like to try paper animation without investing any money into it, may I suggest my flipbook animation tutorial, which I'll leave in the video description below. It's a great place to start if you're paper curious at all. To animate on paper, we're going to need 4 things: a light box so we can see our previous drawings, a peg bar so we can keep all of our papers in place and drawings all lined up. Here I have 2, the old school Acme style peg bar and a standard 3-hole punch style peg bar. There's not really a ton of difference between Acme and 3-hole punch. Both are going to work practically the same. I just like the Acme one because of the old school feel of it. Animation paper, which you can buy pre-punched or punch your own. If you want to punch your own and you have a standard peg bar, it'd be as simple as just buying a 3-hole punch, which you can find in any office supply store. If you'd like to do the Acme style peg bar, I have a link to an Acme style hole puncher in the video description below. Keep in mind it's quite expensive because this is a very niche kind of hole punch. So you're looking to spend around $300. But actually, for an animation hole punch, that's a very reasonable cost. They can sometimes go upwards of $1,200 or more. But like I said, if you have the 3-hole punch one, that's perfectly fine. And of course, pencils. I like using these red and blue erasable colored pencils for undersketching, and then a graphite or an ebony pencil for doing darker and cleanup lines. The links for these will be in the video description below. Sometimes you can find these supplies in local art stores, and I always encourage supporting your local art stores as much as you can. But animation supplies are getting harder and harder to find in person these days, so I will leave affiliate and non-affiliate links on how you can buy these products online. If you use my affiliate links, it sends a little extra cash my way at no extra cost to you, and it supports me as a content creator, and I super appreciate that. Use whatever link feels right for you. So with all of our supplies in order, let's just animate something simple so you have an idea of how all this works. For my peg bar, to keep it from sliding around, I like having it taped to my light box. I use blue painter's tape or masking tape so it doesn't leave a bunch of gunk if I need to remove it for any reason. And you'll notice I keep my peg bar at the bottom of the light table. Let's start with something simple. I'm going to take my first piece of animation paper and line it up and place it on the peg bar. We're going to draw just a pair of googly eyes. You can follow the same style of cartoony eyes that I'm doing, or do whatever style of eyes you like to draw. Feel free to make it as detailed, stylized, or as simple as you want. Just keep in mind, you're going to be drawing this over and over and over again. That's how animation works. So the more lines you draw, the more times you're going to have to replicate it. I'm going to draw my eyeballs just like this, with eyebrows up above it. Feel free to copy mine. Since this is our first storytelling pose, we're calling this a keyframe. Keyframes are kind of like our extreme poses when a character moves around. In animation, we typically indicate a keyframe by writing what frame number it happens on with a little circle around it. This is our first keyframe on frame 1, so we're going to write a 1 and draw a circle around it. And hey, that's our first keyframe done. So for animation, it's typically shot at 24 frames per second. That's 24 drawings for every 1 second of animation. Think about that next time you're watching an animated movie and how much work and patience that must take. For traditional animation, like in Disney and Looney Tunes style, it's often shot on what's called twos. That means that one drawing is exposed for 2 frames. So that gives us 12 drawings instead of 24 per second. So for this animation, we're going to do several different kinds of exposures. Blinks are pretty fast, right? So we're going to mix in some 1s, some 2s, and even some 3s in this animation, just so you can see what those different exposures look like. Because I've animated blinks probably a billion times, I know exactly how I want it to go. But this isn't always going to be the case. Sometimes animation is just going to take some trial and error to figure out the timing and the spacing of what it is you're animating. And that's okay. You can feel free to follow along with my spacing and timing, or try experimenting with your own style of blink. In animation, typically we have what's called an anticipation before movement. This is something I personally like putting into a blink. This is something that's felt more than seen. It's having the eyes open up just a little bit right before closing down to blink. So I'm going to have an anticipation frame happen on frame 3, where the eyes open up just a little bit. And even though they're circular eyeballs, I'm still thinking of them as having top eyelids and bottom eyelids. So eyes opening up, they're going to open up from the top eyelids, and the bottom eyelids are going to stay in relatively the same place. And there's our anticipation frame. And then for the closed eyes, I'm going to have this on frame 6. So I'm going to draw my eyes again, thinking about the top eyelid closing down onto the bottom eyelid. And I'm just going to draw the eyes as 2 kind of flat U shapes, and then have the eyebrows go down along with them. To do my in-betweens, I'm going to teach you guys something cool. You may have seen these little charts on the side of pencil tests. These are often called timing charts, but I think that's misleading. I much prefer to call these spacing charts, because they are more describing how close the in-between drawing is to one frame or the other. I like using the term favoring, but this is also called easing. This is really easy to show with our blink example. Our first keyframe is our eyes all the way open, and our next keyframe is our eyes all the way closed. If we wanted to have our in-between not favor one keyframe or the other and be perfectly in the middle, we would add a tick in the middle of our spacing chart. To show that it's a 50% in between, we also add a little double arch, just so there's no guesswork about it. This would make our eye in between look like this, perfectly in the middle. If we take this tick and we move it closer to our first keyframe, then it would be favoring the first keyframe. We don't add arches to this because it's not a 50% in between anymore, right? So if our easing is charted out like this, then our in between drawing would look like this, favoring our first keyframe. And likewise, if we move the tick to the end of the chart, that means we favor the next keyframe, and it would make our in-between drawing look more like this. Obviously, charts can have as many in-betweens as you want, and we can use arches to have finer and finer 50% in-betweens. I thought a blink would be a really good way to show how these spacing charts work, and you can see why I like to call these spacing charts. The timing or where these drawings happen on the timeline could be anything. That's not what these charts are for. They're there to tell you or the assistant which frame to favor when doing the in-betweens. So now that you know about spacing charts, we're going to draw one for this keyframe, our anticipation into our closed eye position. We're going to draw our chart so that it favors the closed position, and we're only going to have one in between for it. And since it's so quick, we only want it to be exposed for one frame, so we're going to mark this as happening on frame number 5, which is one frame right before our closed position on frame 6. We're going to draw this in between as being closer to the closed eye position than the open one, just like we indicated with our spacing chart from before. So that'll look something like this. And we're going to mark that as frame number 5. And we don't put a circle around it because this isn't a keyframe, right? This is an in-between. So we don't need any kind of circle or indication around the number. And that's our first in-between done. For our next in-between, what I want to do is I want to have the closed eye position stay on screen for 3 frames. And then I'm going to do 2 in-betweens to go from closed back into our drawing number 1, or our first key pose. So the spacing chart for this is going to look like this. I'm going to draw one pose as being a 50% in between, and then the last pose is going to be completely favoring the open eye position to give it sort of a soft ease out into the open eye position, so it kind of cushions into the eye open position. So how would I tackle these in-betweens? Well, first, I like to do my big 50% in-betweens first before doing any favoring drawings. So we're going to do that first. We'll do a 50% drawing from the closed position to the open default position. And that's going to happen on frame 9, since I wanted my closed position to last for 3 frames. And that's going to look something like this. And then for my last favoring pose, I like to have that be sort of a soft cushion. So I'm going to have that, instead of being on 1s, I'm going to have that be on 2s, just so it lasts a little bit longer before easing into the default open eye position again. So this is going to happen on frame 10. And then on frame 12 is where we'll have the open default position. So by the end of this, you should have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drawings. And if you do, congratulations, you've just done what's called pose-to-pose animation. So that's where you first take your key poses and then figure out the in-betweens in between them. In motion, the blink looks like this if you set it to the same timing that I was going with. So for shooting your animation, obviously we're going to have to do something different because we've drawn it on paper and we have to turn it into a video file somehow. So there's a couple of different ways you can do it, and there's no wrong way to do it. Whatever you figure out, I'm sure would be fine, but here's how I personally do it. So first, I use my phone to capture all of my paper animation footage because it's good enough for what we're trying to do. So find a way to rig up your phone so that it sits above your paper animation and try to make it as parallel as possible. The setup that I use is just because this is what I had lying around my house. I have a microphone stand with a phone holder at the end of it, but there's much simpler ways to do this than what I have here. For example, you could attach it to a tripod and hang it off the edge of a chair and keep your paper on the floor. But once you have your phone in place and you're ready to take pictures, the app that I've been using is called Stop Motion Studio. For the features that I use on it, it does require a payment of, I think it was like $6 to unlock all the features for it. And that was worth it to me. But if you don't want to pay for an app, Flip-a-Clip has features where you can import pictures as well. I just don't like it as much because it requires a lot more finger presses, a lot more clicks per picture to import. And if you're shooting a lot of paper animation, that could get very old very quick. So it's worth it to me to use Stop Motion Studio instead. So when you start Stop Motion Studio, to start capturing your animation, select the plus button here to create a new movie. The very first thing you should do in your animation before you do anything else is set your frame rate. While recording this the first time, I set my frame rate after capturing my footage and setting all of the timing, and then found out the frame rate was set to 5 frames per second, and after changing it to 24, it messed all of my timing up. So let's do this first. Let's set up our frame rate for our animation. To do this, click the gear icon in the bottom left, then select the speedometer icon. For this animation, we're animating at 24 frames per second, so let's select that. Now that we have our frame rate set, let's capture our animation. Once you have your camera in a placement you're happy with, we can start shooting frames by selecting the camera icon on the top right. Simply snap a photo either by tapping the red button or by using a Bluetooth device. Change your animation paper to the next drawing and then snap the next picture, and continue doing that until all of your animation has been captured. Remember that our animation ends in a loop, so I'm going to shoot frame number 1 as our last frame as well. You can also take your photos using your default camera app and import them later. I use my video game controller to capture my frames when I'm doing this, and the default camera app seems to be the only way that this works, so that's the way I tend to do it. To import photos that you took this way, simply click this plus button on the left and then select Add Images to bring in any photos that you took. Once you have all of your frames brought into Stop Motion Studio and you have your frame rate set, now we can start timing them out. Our first frame is marked as 1 and our next frame is marked as 3, which means our first drawing needs to hold for 2 frames. Probably the easiest method would be to capture our first drawing 2 times when we're taking our pictures, and then it would automatically have the correct timing that way. But we can also set the amount of time to hold by selecting the frame in the timeline, selecting pause, and then select how many frames the drawing will hold for. In this blink example, our first drawing holds for 2 frames, so that means we're going to select that it pauses for 2 times. Our second drawing also holds for 2 frames, so we're going to select also pause for 2 times. Our third drawing is only exposed for 1 frame, so we don't need to set a pause for that one. Our fourth drawing, which is our extreme closed eye position, that's exposed for 3 frames, so we're going to select a pause for 3 times, so it holds for 3 frames. Then the next drawing after that's only exposed for 1 frame, and the drawing after that is held for 2 frames before looping back to our final frame, which is our frame number 1 reuse drawing. And that one we can hold for as long as we want to. I'm just going to select a random number of 10 here. And then when we play back our animation, it looks like this. How cool. We've got a finished blinking animation, all done on paper the old school way. Obviously, we want to export this as a video so that we can share it around on Discord or email it to our moms. So to do that, we can select this back arrow on the top left to go back into our projects view. Then you want to press and hold on your animation project that you just created and then select Save As. It should select movie by default default, but you can also export it as an animated GIF if you want, but we'll select movie for this example. Select next on the top right. It'll take a second to render, and then select where you want to save it on your phone. And there you go. Now we have our finished paper animation exported as a video. Paper animation is really cool, so make sure to show it off. If you'd like to share it with me on social media, I'd love to see it. My username is @JesseJJones for most places, so feel free to send it to me. I'd love to see your guys' work. And from beginning to end, that's how you do paper animation. The rest of it's going to be up to you and experimenting with it and trying to learn more. If you'd like to learn more about paper animation or animation in general, a really good resource is Skillshare, which is the sponsor of today's video. Skillshare is an amazing platform that teaches you not just drawing and animation, but also how to run a business, how to be a freelance artist, good social media practices, how to stay productive and not procrastinate. Skillshare is an amazing platform. I really like the classes I've learned on here. Some of my favorites have been How to Paint by Marco Bucci. I've also really liked the classes on storytelling to tell my own original stories. The class I'd like to highlight today is How to Design Characters with Jazza. Jazza's another animation/art YouTuber that you may know. He taught me so many tips and tricks back in the day with Flash, so I was excited to see him teaching on here with Skillshare. He goes over things like the fundamentals of design, his personal process with designing characters, and how to take those concepts to create a whole cast of characters for your show or original story. The first 500 people to use my link in the description will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. You can get started today. Thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, give the video a like, and if you'd like to stay tuned for more animation help, be sure to hit that subscribe button with the bell to stay updated on future tutorials. If you'd like to learn more about paper animation or any other subject, please leave a comment below letting me know what else you'd like to learn. Good luck, have fun, and happy animating. Until next time, bye-bye! Be sure to click here to subscribe to my channel to stay updated on future videos and tutorials. If you'd like to help support my work, you can click here to visit my Patreon page. You also get access to rewards like early access to tutorials, source animation files, and access to a secret Patreon-only chat room. Keep on animating, and until next time, bye-bye!
I could be unmuted until my mom gets back. Oh, hello, Blaze. You're bored? I'm bored too. Funny things with Diane Plush. I posted them on TikTok instead. YouTube. You need to download your YouTube Shorts to upload them on TikTok and Insta. By the way, could I do this with, I don't know, my Power Rangers show, as in what you guys are watching? Uh, I don't know.
Unknown Jews, Hadron Jews, Jews. What are you doing? Yeah, my pretty girl. I love you. Yes. my stomach. Hey, Barsha, can you give me some more water?
Yeah.
Thank you. Hey.
They will need you, the men and women of every
I had to end this stream because my computer's dying. Anyways, I'll let it end